guys, and welcome back to Starting Out Solitary. My name is Amanda, and I am your Thursday sub-host this week. This week we are talking about crystals. Okay, before we get into that topic, I just want to say this will be my last video until like November-ish maybe, because this upcoming week baby is supposed to show up, and I just need to do my transition into having a second child, because having one is probably different than having two. Not sure yet. We'll see how that goes. So that is what I'll be doing. I'll do a video on my personal channel to update you guys and stuff like that. Cool dang. Okay, so anyways, we're talking about crystals, and before I show you my mini collection or my collection, I just want to say what I did, or if you're starting or whatever, to collect crystals or want to get into crystals, I do recommend those little crystal guidebooks and stuff, and that's how I pretty much got into it. And I just kind of skimmed through it and just look at properties, because then when I go to metaphysical stores or I browse the internet, I kind of know what I'm getting myself into. Not saying that I know every single crystal and every single detail about it, but I do like the little guidebooks. Like this one is the Essential Guide to Crystals, and I know there's the Crystal Bible and stuff, which is in the same format to this. And this one it talks about your chakras and stuff in the beginning, and there's a pre thing before they talk about all the crystals in here. And then when you get into it, they talk about the magical properties, the healing functions, and the practical use of them, and then their identification and stuff. And then they give you the colors, or the type of colors that certain stone can come in, the hardness, the luster, and the system. So how the crystal grows. This one is garnet, and it grows in a cubic system, I guess. And then it talks about similar stones, and then keywords to it. This is stimulating and fiery, and I think that's initiating. That's that word. So it goes through almost every single one. There's a couple in here I found that there are a couple stones I've looked up that aren't in this one, but that's okay, because this one has a plethora of information, and it's really nice to identify stuff even online, especially when people are I don't know what crystal this is, but I'm selling it for $5. So that kind of helps to give you a better idea of what crystal you're getting. Also, because I'm into crystal healing, and I want to be a certified crystal healer eventually, and a Reiki master, and a massage therapist. Working on it. That's a slow process, but I'm getting there. But I also picked up this book one time, and it's just healing crystals, gemstones. I haven't gone completely through it, but it mostly does the same thing. It talks about the history of the crystal, the healing properties, how you use it in healing, if you're using it in massage or Reiki or whatever, crystal grids, stuff like that. This also talks about the magical properties, the star signs, and application and care. They also talk about the chemical composition, colors, the crystallization of it, the available forms, the other colors that it could be found with, it's just full of everything. Also, this has a pretty much every single stone in it. I found a couple that wasn't in it because I've looked them up. And also in the beginning it talks about chakras and the energy fields, and how they associate with, some stones associate with the zodiac signs and stuff like that. I do like this book, so I would just go pick up a couple books and stuff like that to get started. And they're usually pretty good information. I haven't found anything too out of the norm for what people consider normal properties for crystals. Okay, so my mini collection of crystals I do have. You've all seen this one before. This is my pendulum. It has a clear quartz top piece, and then it's amethyst going through it. I don't use it as a crystal. I use it obviously as my pendulum. I cannot tell you if it helps me with divination or not because I do not have anything to compare to like tiger's eye or lapis lazuli or something of that sort, or a clear quartz pendulum. But this is my pendulum, and I use it just for divination. The only other crystal that I have would be my jade turtle that I got on vacation one time with the parents at, let's see, South Dakota, I think it's called. Yeah, that state. On the way to the Badlands, we stopped at this one place that was making some, like, you know how like Mount Rushmore has the face carved in? Yeah, they were doing the same concept with some Indian dude. Don't ask me who the Indian was or why they were doing it, but he was like some famous, I want to say it was Black something was his name. But don't ask me because I was like 15, 16 years old and I didn't really care about history back then. I really do wish I would listen more because that'd probably help me out with the story. But yeah, there was a museum and a tour and all that good stuff. Fun family times listening to the sister and brother screaming, but you know. But yeah, we ended up going through this museum things that showed like old stuff from Native Americans back, like what they would use and how they use it and stuff. But inside the like first layer or whatever, they had people making stuff and crafting stuff and selling their goods. And I don't remember if we traded with this guy or what we did to get this, like how we did a transaction. I just remember there was a little turtle, because this was just a bead at the time and not on a necklace, was just hanging out there. I'm like, oh mom, look, this is so cool, da 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 da. And the guy was like, oh, you think it's cool? Here, let me make you a necklace real quick. And he had like the string and needle, and because these beads are like really dinky on here, like if you can see that. And he like seriously just made it in front of us. And he's like, here you go, kind of thing. I think maybe my parents paid for it. I don't remember. But he gave me like the whole history of the turtle and what it meant to his people and stuff like that, which was really cool. Wish I remembered more of it to tell you guys, but yeah, it was a really interesting story at the time. At least I think it was, remember it as being interesting. I just don't remember the whole entire story. He also did end up giving me a rose quartz piece, but it was like really tiny and I ended up losing it through all the multiple moves that I've had to do to get down here. So it's either at my mom's house or packed away in a box still that has not been opened. But he did give me a rose quartz crystal, and he did give me the history and the lore about that, and he did say it was a love crystal. I do remember him saying that because a couple months later I found my husband, well, boyfriend at the time. Other than that, I do use, here, this little dude, the Salt Rock crystal lamps. If you count this as a crystal, I guess, but I do, kind of, sort of. But, yeah. This one's my lamp format, and I really like this one because it comes with a USB. It's a USB-ended cord, so you can connect it to the computer or the charger, and it'll work. And the only thing I don't like about the lamp itself, like these ones, well, that's even with the tea light holders. It gets really, if you don't, you have to use it every single day for like 30 minutes because it sucks in moisture, and it actually ruins the crystal itself or the rock formation. So you have to like heat it up for 30 minutes. It has to at least run for 30 minutes or something like that, I think is what the instructions told me, because the moisture it absorbs in the air and stuff like that. But this little dude pretty much emits negative ions to balance out the positive ions in your space. I know from personal experience, when I first got this, I ended up falling asleep with it on, and I woke up really refreshed and really like full of energy. And I felt really good, and me and my sister didn't fight as much because I ended up getting her one, and my sister isn't really good with stress. So I told her that she needed to leave it on for like the whole entire week. Easy peasy, like me and her got along that whole entire week without a scuffle. I was pretty amazed. So I think it was the crystal itself, or maybe she was just having a good day. No, it was probably a little bit of help from the crystal, and also me being mindful of her, and that being her space and her house too, because I don't live there anymore. So, other than that, but those I really do like, and that I do use actively because it's on all the time. I do feel the difference. I do feel better when it's on and stuff like that compared to when it's not, or if I'm in a room that doesn't have it, like I can tell the energy shift between the two. That's something I'm still working on. But other than that, that's pretty much all I know about crystals. I'm not too informative on it since I'm really new to it and I'm kind of putting it into my life in pieces. But until next time, you guys, blessed be.